So welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime, and today's story comes from Action Comics 264, published in May 1960, with story by Jerry Siegel and art by Jim Mooney. And this one is called Supergirl Gets Adopted. I'm so glad we adopted Linda. It would break my heart if we ever lost her. It keeps getting tougher to slip away as Supergirl. Somehow I've got to get my foster parents to return me to the orphanage before they accidentally discover my secret identity. But they're so nice, how can I hurt them? So we open with Supergirl performing a super feat. Apparently this plane, their landing gear did not extend out, so she just yanked it out and had a perfect landing. She goes back, and apparently there is a couple coming. Mr. and Mrs. Wilkins, they're looking to adopt, and so all the children are making themselves look nice, hoping to get adopted. Meanwhile, Linda does not want to get adopted because she doesn't want her existence as Supergirl to get out. She says, I must not be adopted. Foster parents might accidentally learn I have superpowers. I promised Cousin Superman to keep the existence of Supergirl on Earth a deep secret until he gives me permission to reveal myself. So she dresses in a kind of a ratty dress, puts dirt on her face, musses up her hair, but the mother says Linda's voice sounded almost like that of the little girl we lost. In a way, it's almost choke like having our own daughter back. So Linda's plan, I wouldn't say backfires, but it doesn't work because she looks like their deceased daughter. And apparently she said, this room is yours now, Linda. It once belonged to our daughter who passed away. If she had lived, she would now be exactly your age. These dresses are new and exactly your size. So I don't know how long ago she passed away, but for whatever reason, they bought her clothes for when she would be older. And she says, thank you, Miss Wilkins. Not Miss Wilkins. Call me Mother. Gosh, they're nice. So she wants to go back to the orphanage, but she feels really bad because they're such nice folks. The father is a police officer. Yes, dear, I'm a captain in charge of a racket-busting squad. Well, I must report for duty. Now Mother will enroll you in school today. So she's there with her adopted mother, knitting, and Linda's kind of keeping an eye on her dad. I just got a tip, Jim. A wanted racketeer, Nick Crane, has just been spotted in a drugstore. Swell, let's go. So they go to arrest, and I guess the chase takes him down into a subway station, and this fellow knocks, I guess, her foster father off the rail, off I can't think of the name of it. Knocks him off into the rails. And he is stunned. He hit his head. Must save him before the oncoming train. So Linda sees what's going on, and she uses super hypnotism. And then the glittering, twirling necklace plus my commanding voice had the effect of hypnotizing her. Now to change to Supergirl. And then she puts on a Superman costume. Now this seems like really, really cheating. If she could do that, why not do it all the time? So, there's certain cleverness in writing, in how she can get away with not getting caught, but this is really cheap. She just goes out as Superman. The subway train conductor doesn't see us. No time to get off the tracks. We're doomed. I'm not sure which is the father. Let's see. Father, I don't know. He may be the one trying to help him off. But either way, they're both going to die. But Supergirl as Superman comes and rescues. We're sure lucky you came along when you did. I wish you'd let us thank you, Superman. But he heads out without speaking because, of course, he would sound like Supergirl and says, I've got to get back to my knitting. And so the mother doesn't realize that she was hypnotized. And the father comes back home with a wristwatch. They're sweet. I wish they weren't so good to me. It will make it harder to break their hearts. So they take a family photo. And the next day, or actually several days later, her foster father is out there protecting this fellow named He's a boxer named Candy Kid. And he says, I don't need your protection. I'm not afraid of those gamblers. They lost heavily because you refused to throw a fight. Despite their threats, I'm sure they'll try to get even. So what they're going to try to do is drop the two of them, the her foster father and the Candy Kid, in an elevator. And she yet again tricks her mother using super ventriloquism and heads out, just kind of tossing her wig off as she's flying through the air. She saves her dad yet again and the Candy Kid. And for whatever reason, the criminals decided to just hang out there. And they are caught. Linda, I'm disappointed in you. I told you to do the dishes, but I did do them. So she doesn't believe it. Not unless you have super speed. Oh, I guess you do. But anyway, the mother just thinks it's her mind slipping. Whew. Saved by Ma's absent-mindedness. So a few nights later, her foster father is out on patrol, and it's a trap. One of the gangs I'm investigating is trying to run me down, so it'll look like an accident. So this is weird. She takes this, there's this oil barrel there, and she punches a pipe through the side of it, and then another one through the top. Then she blows into the top pipe, spraying the oil, causing the cars to skid. I think only this is a villain's car. I think this is just a unlucky person, and so the cars skid, but nobody is damaged. And the father comes out, get out of your cars and keep your hands raised where I can see them. You're under arrest. So he arrests them. A week later, he's showing Linda his job, and all of a sudden, some mobsters toss a bomb at him. Her father tries to jump onto it, but it slips out, and she uses her X-ray vision to melt the inner workings, so the bomb is helpless. You're going home right now, Linda. This is no place for a young girl. Poor Dad is terribly upset. I can't tell him that the bomb is now harmless without giving away my dual secret identity. So that evening, the father comes in and says, pack your things, Linda. We're going back to the orphanage. Don't you love me? I thought, of course we love you, Linda, dear, but we can't keep you any longer. It isn't fair to you. Your mother and I talked it over. My job is too dangerous. We can't allow you to share the fate that happened to our other daughter. What happened to her? One night several years ago, as we slept, vengeful criminals fired at me through the windows. The cowards failed to kill me, but our sweet, dear child was a victim of their bullets. We wanted you to replace our lost daughter, but now we realize we haven't the right to endanger your life. We're returning you to the orphanage immediately before the adoption is final. I guess there's a 30-day grace period. If not for my promise to tell Superman, I'd tell them how I can't be hurt because I'm invulnerable to all harm. There they go, choke. I'll never forget them. How ironic that they themselves solved the problem of how I could return to the orphanage before they learned my secret. Will Superman give his permission for me to be adopted someday? Or can I never be adopted, so that I will always be free to secretly help him? What will the future bring, I wonder? I didn't really like this story. There's two problems. First of all, within about the same span of about 2 weeks, she saved his life 4 times. So my assumption is that after she leaves, he's just going to get killed a few days later. One wonders how he even survived this long. Also, that's a pretty dark ending, that she was there to replace their daughter who had been murdered. I'm also not in love with, it's not bad, but I'm not in love with Jim Mooney's art. There's a lot of artists from this period like Kurt Swan, Wayne Boring, and Al Plastino that I prefer. But yeah, this story just seems a bit dark. So anyway, that is Supergirl gets adopted, but she doesn't really.